episode number 21.
If there's a country that allows you to get to wherever you want to get to, whether it's good or bad, is this one. If you were willing to work and pay, work hard, because I think you have to work, and go through the process and be honest to the process, you can get to wherever you want to be. And everyone, including those that don't look like you, will give you a chance if you have that desire. But just believe that you can do it. That's the only job we have. Believe it.
Welcome to the GovCon Giants podcast, federal contracting for people on the outside looking in. If you are here to learn how to win a piece of the pie without getting your face smashed in, then you've tuned in to the right place. Now, the giant that not only walks the walk, but talks the talk, your host, Eric Coffie.
Today, we're bringing you a treat with another woman giant that is kicking butt and taking names in the biz. Patricia Bonilla, president of Lunacon Construction Group, is from my second favorite country in the world behind the United States, the Dominican Republic. She founded Lunacon in 2007 and now has 5 office locations, including Puerto Rico, serving more than 300 customers worldwide. What is so special about her story for me personally is I had a chance to witness her journey from the sideline. Her and I first attended classes together at the Small Business Administration 7J training some 10 plus years ago down in Miami when she was just getting started in business. Though it took a little bit of jogging her memory, I think she finally did remember me somewhat faintly from back then. But the story doesn't end there. We also crossed paths working for the same clients and customers down at Homestead Air Force Base and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. She's tremendously special for me for what she's accomplished because she was Women Contract of the Year, State of Florida Minority Owned Business Person of the Year, Government Contract of the Year, Good to Great Award, ABC's in Excellence, and she continues to lead from the front giving back to her community. Over the past decade, Lunacon has built an impressive resume of diverse company experience, a long list of both satisfied and repeat clients, and a bonding capacity of 15 million single and 50 million aggregate. Lunacon serves their clients with a commitment to excellence in every service they deliver, striving to be considered amongst the best construction contractors in the industry. During the interview, she discusses walking away from her job at a not so convenient time and the role of faith in her life and business. I'd like to welcome to the show my favorite local giant, Patricia Bonilla.
Thank you. So you and I met at the SBA because you are also an 8A.
Yeah. Yes. I was working with an 8A. We met at 7J training in 2010.
Okay.
Do you remember 7J training?
Yeah.
At the SBA? Okay. So I found a card from someone that sat with you, Jackie Banks.
Wow.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. How do you collect these cards? I have a bunch of cards that I haven't even been able to go back to them again.
Well, I think at that time, I think we were both new. I was probably newer than you were to the program. And so I was really seeking out the information from people. And if you didn't sit in front of me, you sat very close to me in proximity, like either behind me or to the side of me.
That's you. I'm thinking in front of you. I think I'm behind you. Actually, no, I think I was behind you.
Behind me, right? That's what I'm saying. Because when I came in, when you come into the door, I sat to the left side and the tables with 2 people.
Yes, totally. I remember that.
You remember now?
Yeah, I was behind. And behind me, there was nothing else. Okay.
And so the guys that I came with, you might remember them. They were very tall guys, like basketball players.
Yeah, I remember guys.
One was an air conditioning company and one was a painting company, Curtis Painting and South Dade Air Conditioning.
Oh, Curtis Painting. Wow.
You remember that name?
Yeah, I did work with them.
Yes, I know. We both did work together for the Army Corps down at Homestead.
Yes.
I'll tell you another story. You hired the girl from CCI when they left the base.
Yes. Yep.
I know my people.
Yeah, no, you're definitely out there.
I know. I was trying to think of her name, but I couldn't remember it.
Yeah, I should remember.
Carla,
yes. Oh my God.
I'm pretty good, huh?
You're amazing.
No, there's certain things that are part of my life that I can remember very well, and I don't know why, but I don't remember a lot of people in that room, but for some reason you stuck out. And then I think also what happened was, since we were working in the same space, I think that's what made me remember you so much, is that because, we were both out of Miami, and then we're working in the same space. And then I know you went up to do like some of the work up in like Katrina stuff, and then you came back down to Homestead.
Yeah, well, I've been in different states, so we actually currently still work in multiple states besides Florida.
Right.
But,
now, I think during that time, because we were doing a lot of work at the Air Force Base, very small projects. We weren't working with the Corps. We were working directly for the base, Mr. Bergens, Henry Bergens. And so after we kind of left that, I think you came on and started doing some work at the base right behind us. But I think you were preoccupied with some other locations at the time.
When did you start at the base at Homestead? In what year?
We started 2008, 2009.
Oh no, you started before me.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You came right after us. I think you were preoccupied up in because I know you were doing work like New Orleans stuff.
No, actually, I had a few contracts in Cape Canaveral.
Okay.
I did 3. What preoccupied me, like you're saying, I'm using your words. In 2010, actually, we got our first 8A Sole Source Award in Cape Canaveral. It was $3.5 million.
Wow.
That was a nice story, actually.
Listen, let's start with that story.
You want to start?
Yeah, let's start with that story.
Well,
tell us about the time when you got your first contract.
When we got the first contract, so we graduated. We started in 2000 and let me see. I applied for the 8A, and I got it in 2009. It was fairly quickly, the process, and wow, I'm trying to go back in times because it's been 10 years now.
Yes.
And that was, if you remember, that was the recession.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is when I started the company, was in 2007, when I had quit my job, applied for the 8A, started marketing the 8A basically without having it. And actually, I didn't even know what it really could do to you, the impact that it would cause. I just followed people's advice on everything that I could possibly, I tried everything.
Right.
And so in 2010, so a year later, I actually, we were completing a project for the USDA, and that was not 8A. We were a sub.
Okay.
It was a pretty large CM at risk contract, and relatively large for us.
Right.
And everything started happening one at the same time. I actually thought we were not going to get we weren't going to have any work, because in 2010, this is the summer, there was nothing really in Miami.
No.
So everything started happening at the same time, and I actually hired 25 people in a month. So basically at the same time, we got a contract with Charleston District, a contract with Mobile, and a contract with in Cape Canaveral. So we
at the same time.
At the same time, and I also, because I'm a believer of not focusing on one market only, that's kind of scary for me. We actually were also starting a contract with Miami-Dade County, low bid, and as a sub performing the concrete and the shell on a 30,000 square feet building.
Okay.
And so what happens is that we went to do a capability briefing in Cape Canaveral, and this is what I called a miracle. Many of the miracles that I have had in my life, and also in the journey of this company that I have, went to do the presentation, and as we were driving back to Miami, in the middle of the road, they called and said, "You have a $3.5 million contract."
Wow.
We were like, what? I mean, we just wanted to be on our knees there and just praising. God for the miracle, because really a lot of people were closing doors in that time.
Yes.
And so 3.5 million, and then we had 2 subsequent contracts renewed on the same base.
Now, you said it was in Cape Canaveral?
Yes.
Okay. Now, was that directly with the base or was that with the Corps?
No, Air Force.
Okay, Air Force. Okay. All right. That was an Air Force contract. Wow. Now, let's go back. Now, where does the name Lunacon come from?
So Luna means moon in Spanish.
Okay.
And con is construction, right? So it's funny. My partner, although I started the company, my partner today, who's actually my husband too, we met working for another construction company, a large company down in Miami. We separated. I went my way. I went to be the director of construction for the City of Fort Lauderdale. I saw that. I was heading the construction department there. Left that company, and we kept in touch, became very good friends. And we also became, got into a relationship, but we would separate, right? We would separate. And so when we were separated, we thought the moon communicated. We communicated through the moon.
Oh, wow.
It's way too romantic for construction. But that is a true story. So when the logo, when we sat down with the guy that was doing the logo in Dominican Republic, I said to him, it has to have the moon because it represents God in our lives. And God has to be the center of this company, just like it is the center of our lives. So it's way too much maybe for this podcast.
No, I think it's a great story. I think that, it's a great backdrop to stating, where your vision was headed right from the beginning. And then you carry that forward. Now, are you from Dominican Republic? Is that where you're from?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So you are from Dominican Republic, and you had a guy over there design it.
Yes. So we didn't have any money. So I was in the garage. So I had to go. I basically sent a text to my brother and I asked, "Do you have somebody that can design this our logo? Because it has. I cannot compromise quality because I don't have money. I just cannot. Money was tight.
Yes.
I was starting. I didn't want to overstay myself, but yet I wanted greatness, and so." That's exactly what happened. We went to Dominican Republic, sat down with him, and until he did, and he produced what we think is an amazing logo. Actually, we trademark it. And if you have seen it, do you have our business cards with you?
Yes.
So you see 4 moons, right?
Hold on, let me pull it up in front of me. I'm on your website. Let me get Jackie's card.
Yeah, get Jackie's card. Put it in the back.
Oh, I didn't notice that. You're right.
Yes. So the 4 moons represents 4 people brainstorming on a plan view. If you look at them from the top, so from the top to bottom.
Right.
And then it also represents a star. It represents a cross.
It does. I can see it all. Wow. Yes. That's pretty deep.
So when we're lost, we have a star. We remember we have a star. There's always guiding us beyond what we can see in our physical world, and we have God as a center of our lives. Wow.
No, that's you know what? I've seen this car, but sometimes you just look at the logo. You don't really pay attention to it, but I see it now. I see it. Yeah. Wow. That's great. So now you said you didn't have any money. What made you quit your job at the City of Fort Lauderdale? I mean, it sounds like you had a good job. I'm sure people probably told you were crazy to walk away from that.
Right. They did.
I know.
Okay. Now, can you imagine what prompted me to do such a crazy thing?
No, I can't.
Can you? Can you
I mean, I can take a guess, certainly, because I know what that's like when you work for the cities and they don't give you your freedom to be able to grow, to develop. As far as what I've seen, they kind of pigeonhole people. You can't become like you couldn't be doing what you're doing now. Obviously, working for the city. Maybe you want to help others.
So it definitely I did everything I could at that job, and it was definitely an experience. It helps me put myself in the shoes of somebody working for the government.
Okay.
I can tell, what they go through. There's a lot of competent people, but really, I had a dream of having my own company, and the moment in time when it happened, when it really wasn't the most convenient, because I was then single with 3 children. Also, it was also an act of faith. So God said, this is the time when you're going to have a company. And it was scary, but I was very certain that it was the right time. And yes, people said that I was crazy.
And you just quit.
Yeah. I said, I'm going to start my company. And I remember the city manager saying that I wasn't ready to start a company. I remember somebody else saying, are you crazy with 3 kids? How can you do this?
Yes, you're being irresponsible.
My brother said, no, the economy is tanking. It's horrible what's going to happen.
Right.
In finance. And you know what? It just, the belief inside was stronger than any of those. The belief in what was possible was stronger than the fear that was being, people were
trying to impose on you. Right. No, that takes a lot of faith. That takes a lot of faith to do. Now, prior to working for the City of Fort Lauderdale, how much of construction experience did you have before that?
I had acquired 17 years of experience.
Okay. So you knew the industry in and out. So you were pretty versed. Okay. All right. Well, that was good. I actually came from a real estate background into this. So,
wow. Yeah.
So I had to learn by hitting the ground running. I didn't have a lot of prior knowledge to pull from. So you walked away. You quit your job. You founded the company, 2007, 3 kids. You got 8A. How did you learn about the 8A program?
Somebody told me, somebody I was working with in the USDA project that I actually after I left the city, another miracle. 2 days later, after I left, 2 days. 2 days. I got this phone call about this project. This architect I have worked with, and my partner too, I worked with in a school. He said, I need somebody that can be the owner rep and can be doing construction management on behalf of the owner on this project that was a $23 million job. So yes, I didn't have any work and I didn't market this. It really literally came from God, I think. It was just as a remark to say that we were in the right track,
Right. Yes. As a confirmation.
A confirmation. That's the word. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to learn how to speak English.
No, I don't know. I think you've done all right as far as, where you're at. I mean, so keep going, please.
So yeah. So 2 days later, this happens, and it took the 2 worst years of the recession. That contract was sufficient for that, and and that is exactly what happened. So I actually forgot your question at the original question.
Well, so the original question was, how did you learn about the 8A program?
So as I was working on that contract, this person that was working there said, "Oh, you should become 8A," because I was being certified in everything I could possibly certify. I didn't know what I was doing when I started my business. Yes, I had already acquired experience, but as a project manager,
right,
running construction projects, large projects, but it's not the same.
No, it's totally different. I agree. I would agree.
There's a lot more to owning your own company.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A lot of times we quit our jobs because we're good technicians and we know how to do the day-to-day of whatever technical aspect, of our duties, but it's not the same as to running a company.
Right.
So I basically started going with the flow and just receiving guidance from other people. I listen a lot to what other people try to tell you. And so one of the things was become 8A. I researched that and I did it. hire somebody. You might know her. She helped me. I just didn't want to spend the time to go through the process. Lourdes Martin Rosa, you probably know her.
Yes, I know that name. Yes, I know her.
And I got it done, and it was done. And then what I did though, I started marketing it before receiving when I learned what it could do, then I was a proactive in the sense that I was traveling everywhere I could possibly go to learn about it, to expose the company, brand the company with the federal government.
Okay.
So it didn't take me as long as other people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A lot of people, they get the 8A and they don't know what to do with it or how to do it. No. And it takes, I've had people on this show that it took them 8 years before they got their first contract.
Now, I did spend money though, because some people don't understand the value of investing in marketing and networking. And, so in the contract that I had, I spent money from the money that we were making.
Yes.
In marketing, meaning, Miami, it's basically way south of the United States.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of military action here.
No.
For you to get work, you got to travel.
Yes.
And that means money and time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to multiply yourself because you got to do your day-to-day job, mm-hmm. and you need to do the other job that is getting you forward the next 3 to 5 years, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. What kind of things did you do, like marketing-wise? So you would travel, you would visit. Who would you visit? You go to conferences, events? What was that? What you referred to?
Yeah, I did. Okay. I did like crazy.
Everything,
and it was so much probably that my partner before we got this work, he says to me, and the other work was panning out. He says, "Oh, well, this marketing of yours, I don't see anything." I see a lot of money and a lot of traveling, but I don't see anything happening.
He didn't have the faith that you had.
Well, you know what? I believe he said it with a lot of
love. Yes. But
hesitation.
Right.
Say like, show me the money.
Right. So yeah, no, it's like, okay, I'm doing everything you said. No, I get it, because a lot of people, I have a YouTube channel, and we have thousands of people on a channel. And a lot of people say the same thing. Well, I'm doing all these things and nothing's happening. Or they'll call one person, they don't get a response, and they quit or they give up. And they're quick to throw their hands up. They think that if they go to one event or one meeting, meet with the person and show their capability statement, that they should be getting contract right away. And I've never seen it happen like that. Very rare.
So I'll tell you, what I have learned through this journey is that when you're about to give up and you're really at the verge of giving up, this is when your blessings are about to come. Mm. So I gotta give my partner credit, because as soon as he said that, but I said, you know what, I feel it. It's coming. And I cannot explain it, how much I feel it, but you know what? If we believe something is coming, what we need to be doing is not retrieving from the direction we think we're going to go, but to prepare for the floodgate to be able to receive what's coming. So I said, if we were to land a bunch of work all at the same time, what's going to be our biggest issue? It's going to be staff, because we don't have people.
Right.
So why don't we go about and start interviewing people? Because I don't think the universe is going to go and flood you with a lot of work if you're not ready.
Right.
So let's get ready.
Right.
So we said, okay, well, if we bring people to the garage, they're not going to want to work here. So we made Starbucks our place of meeting.
Okay.
And so we would interview people like crazy. And this is why, basically, I'll tell you, it was crazy, because when one job opened up, the other jobs started to open up. It was one after the other.
Wow.
And it was so funny, because we also got to work with an interior and Department of Interior at the same time, and that was funny, because there was a phone call, and the guy says, this is the federal government, blah, 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 blah. You know, he said it so quickly, I thought it was the
IRS. You say, wait, I haven't made any money yet. I can't owe you money.
I paid my taxes. But then I thought, oh, it's my part. It made me remember my partner used to make me these pranks, like these jokes. He would call me from the job site, making another voice, like it was a laborer asking for work.
Okay.
So I thought it was him. The guy actually says, this is the federal government. We want to know. We have a job for you, and we want to know if you're interested. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You know how much I've been waiting for this?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot. When I tell you we hired 25 people, and we grew from 2 employees to 27 in a month. I'm literally telling you that. And this is June, when all these contracts are being negotiated, all these estimates being produced all at the same time. And in September, in October, we're starting work. So it was literally an expansion like beyond belief.
Wow. But I think that looking back on it, right, because the economy was down, it probably made it easier for you to get really high quality people.
That's correct.
I remember when we were doing our contracts at the base, Curtis used to work for BCA Construction, who built a lot of schools down there, and AC Construction, but they were closing down because they stopped building schools because of the recession. And a lot of their project managers, superintendents, foremen, they all needed work because there was no one had contracts.
Right.
So in that sense, it's probably allowed you to get some of the best people out there.
That's true. That's correct. Yes. But still, yeah, that was definitely a plus. But it does stretch you.
Oh, I will. No, of course. 25 people, payroll.
It's a lot of stuff.
HR.
We're not even talking when this was in less than 2 months.
Yeah.
All this happening super quickly.
Yeah. How did you, I guess you just had to do it, right? You just had to figure it out.
So we had to deal with, again, always looking forward and what could be my next issue, right? What could prevent me from success here? One of the things was funding.
Okay.
And bonding in construction. Yep. Bonding is key.
Yes.
So on the bonding side, we all had already set up our bonding company. We had a strategy in place in case this happened, with a surety company that would support SBA bonding, because my program was about $1.5 million, and yet we went through $5 million. So we went. It was 3 times.
Yeah.
As much. So I was already set with the SBA. It's expensive, but at least I was able to get the contract on my own. I didn't have to find somebody else to share this with. The other thing is the banking relationship. I had a guy that, although he went to the garage, he didn't believe in our story. It's true, because before him, there were a couple of bankers that I met at the garage, and they just didn't believe in the story, right?
Right.
But he had started us with a line of credit, and again, at that time, in a bank, construction was a bad word. Oh,
it's a bad word. I remember that. That was actually on their list of not to lend to, was construction companies.
Yeah, like get out of here.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the list. They showed me, they said, these are the industries we do not lend to.
Yeah.
But yet you were able to pull off a banking relationship.
Well, he believed it. When what we were saying, he believed in us. To this day, we have a really good relationship with him. And what happened is that when we got all these contracts, he extended the line of credit even more. And I remember my husband, my partner, he always says that I gave him I told him by when, I said, by this date, we're going to have $200 in the bank. And this is in the line of credit, took us exactly to that point where the money started coming in. Yeah. So we managed the cash flow in such a way that money started kicking in when we actually needed it. We didn't go. Because look, one of the good things, and people don't realize this, is that the federal government pays to small businesses in 15 days or less. So in reality, it's a really good avenue for small businesses to grow, financially speaking. Yes.
Excellent. No, I agree with you. Now, let me ask you, we're going to turn this around. How many siblings do you have?
I have
brothers
3.
and sisters, 3. Are you
I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest. Now, as a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? What did you think you were going to be?
An engineer, just like I am.
Ah, okay. You see, I'm trying to make a connection here. Okay. Now, did you ever, did you grow up in the United States, or did you grow up in Dominican Republic?
Dominican Republic.
Okay. Actually, so I have a niece that's from Dominican Republic. She's from Puerto Plata on the North Coast.
Oh, yeah. Really? I'm sure she's super nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she is. She's in Miami now. We brought her there, but she lived there until she was 3. Now, as a child, I asked my last guest this. I know when I was a kid, I used to sell candy. I would sell Snickers and lollipops. Did you ever do any entrepreneurial things as a kid? Like we did newspapers and things like that. Can you remember those?
As a child, well, I did work with my father. I did work in the business that he had, but just in the summer, like on my free time.
Okay.
I was very busy as a child. I lived with very demanding father and mother. We were so busy in all kinds of extracurricular activities, just like learning English, ballet, swimming. Right. I was a swimmer. The school I had to have really good grades. Okay. So no, we didn't. I didn't sell anything. I don't.
Didn't do anything like that. But they kept you busy. Go ahead.
I have 3 brothers that wanted to take my place, so I had to negotiate with them all the
time. Okay, all right. You had to negotiate with your brothers. That was good. Those are life lessons. And you said you want to be an engineer, which again, you kind of fulfilled that vision. Now, let me ask you this. Were you the kind of person that looked at the competition, and said, if he can do it, so can I?
Oh, I'm very competitive.
Okay.
I don't think I measure myself by somebody else's actions.
Okay.
I think I compete with myself.
Okay.
And I would say I'm probably a crazy visionary. I see things and I want to get them done.
No, that's great. And obviously you're a person of strong faith.
I am. Not that it wasn't like that necessarily in my household. But for some reason, I feel that I'm chosen.
Nice. No, that's great. That's great.
That might be arrogant, but
no. Look, you're an entrepreneur. You're producing. You're making results. Someone has to, lead and have the visionary. So again, I wouldn't call it arrogant at all. Now, going back to the business side. So you've been winning. You start winning awards in 2012. So would you say it took about 4 years to get your business really off the ground? I know that you won some of those contracts immediately, but the first prime contract that you won after the USDA.
It was in 2010.
So the next year.
Yeah, fairly quickly. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And now 1 contract.
It was 3.
Or 4 contracts. Wow. Yeah. One of them was $3.5 million. So.
Oh, that's a great start for anyone. I think a lot of people be intimidated by that.
Well, you know what happens as I learn more about the program and small businesses. We had paid our dues on our own already without having the company. What I'm saying is, a lot of people start a company and they go to the 8A program, but they don't have. The company doesn't have the experience, and they don't have the experience. Yes, correct. And people don't underestimate, at least in my industry, the experience that is required in order to mitigate risk on the owner's eyes. Because what we think is one thing, but what they think, in order for us to receive a contract, is a different ball game.
Right.
We need to find ways to mitigate the risk on their eyes. And when the experience is there, they can tell very quickly.
Okay. So you think maybe your resume and the experience that you had the previous 17 years, they looked at that and said, no, we can trust her with the $3 million contract. And that makes sense to me because I do hear a lot of stories about companies who the person just started the business and at the same time, they've never worked in that respective industry, not a long time, right? So they may have, let's say you did housing remodels or something like that. And now you're looking at doing, like you said, a 30,000 square foot shell contract. Totally different.
Right. No, I always worked for government agencies.
Okay.
Government entities. I always did government work and public work, airport, schools.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can see them. That's why they would trust you with a contract out the gate.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Did you ever, in the beginning, did you ever spend any time in DC in order as part of your marketing efforts? Or did you mostly deal with local offices or local agencies?
No, everything was outside of Florida, Miami. I went to DC. I went to Atlanta. I am trying to remember, where did I not go? I didn't go to the West Coast.
Uh-huh.
I basically said, let me focus on the East Coast. So I did go, but I did go to DC. In DC, there's a lot of conferences that everyone goes to.
Yes.
I went to the small business conference for SAME.
I think that I saw you at a conference back then.
Probably. That's what I think I saw you too.
Yes. I think I saw actually more recently than the 2010 program.
Probably,
I think I saw you at a conference probably because we traveled to several conferences as well.
Do you go to the small business conference?
Yes. And I've been to the SAME one in Miami as well.
Yeah. I was. But I actually was one of the people that originated this the
chapter.
The chapter here. Yeah. But at SAME, I was the small business council. I was very active on the small business council for SAME National, and you probably have seen me in there because we always have a booth. So maybe there. I do go to a lot of conferences.
Okay. Still today, and you have to, but not only federal. I always believe in opening for other markets. So okay, yeah, I noticed that. I saw that when you on your list of clients, you've worked with FIU and Broward College, Miami-Dade, FP&L. So you diversify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's key.
Okay.
In my opinion, because I started in the recession. So I did hear the story of people that were closing doors because they only knew how to work with one or two clients.
That's a very good point. That makes a lot of sense.
That's kind of scary to me. I believe I also understand or suffer this furlough, the sequestration,
yes.
a few more than twice.
Yes.
During I mean, we had it at the beginning of this year and the end of last year, where we weren't getting paid. Mm-hmm. So if I only have a source of revenue, one source, and that source, for reasons out of my control or whoever's control, they stop paying you, you have to pay people every week.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, granted, you can have a line of credit, but that's not the intent of a line of credit. Shouldn't be to cover
right
inefficiencies on collection of cash.
Makes sense. No, that's true. Makes sense. And you're right, because like I said in the beginning of this, when we first start talking, that's what happened with the companies that were doing only the school board work. They closed down because there's no more school board work.
Right.
And they just had to close their doors. And then we're talking about a $50 million a year business that just had to close up shop.
Yeah.
Because they had one single client.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense. Who would you say, and I don't know if you can answer this, when you first got started growing, were you dealing with like Ostaboo's, the SBA, P-Tax? Who would you say kind of gave you, helped you further that goal? And the reason why I ask is because for people who are starting out, who may not can't go everywhere and do everything, we're trying to home in on some of the key things that they should be doing or talking to people wise.
Well, obviously, this is. I'm going to answer it honestly the way I think. I think if you want to do federal work, you need to have time to market your company.
Okay.
If you don't have time, or you're not willing to do what it takes to dedicate the resources that it requires, then I don't think you should be doing federal work. You're gonna be limited. The result that you're gonna see is gonna be a consequence of the input that your effort, right?
Yes, correctly.
They're not here in Miami.
No,
they are. I think Jacksonville is the there's a few people here, but they're the ones, especially in construction.
Right.
You gotta find the agencies that have the most money, right? The ones that are a believer in small businesses. They really advocate for small businesses.
Yes.
Some take more chances than others.
Right.
Some, that's all they do. They want to give the opportunity to small businesses. Of course, if you have the merit, if you have the know-how, and if you have the setup, the financial setup, the minimum requirement, right, to mitigate risk.
Certainly. You
got to go find them. They're not going to come here looking for you. That's my experience. Sometimes you get phone calls. You got to have dynamic business search up to date. You have to have your capability statement. But the most impact is when you go meet them and you've seen these people so many times that they know you by your first name. Again, building relationships. It's been key for me. So, but if you were to, let me see, how can you, a short way of doing this? Wow.
I mean, not short, but if you could only pick a certain avenue, right? So, for example, if you can't actually, I understand you can't go to every conference, but if you were to call an agency, who would you be calling and who would you be trying to speak to?
Right. If you can only do one thing, I would go to the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
And I would go to the Small Business Conference.
Okay.
Because that's the one that everyone that has to do anything with contracting or project management or any official, that's a conference that everyone that makes decisions goes to. There's a lot of information and a lot of people. It's a huge conference. So that would be the focus if you can only do one.
Okay. No, that's a fair answer. And I love your first response because it makes the most sense if someone wants to really grow their business and maximize the potential of the programs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you this. As a woman in a male-dominated industry, have you had any situations occur where anyone questioned your ability or maybe you felt that you were treated unfairly? What has been your experience?
I try not to look at this stuff.
Okay.
I haven't focused on this, but when you go to a conference, for example, in the military, and you see you go to even the one I just mentioned, or any of them, you basically see more men, more Anglo men.
Mm-hmm.
In the conference. So what I have experienced, because nobody's going to tell me I don't know. That would be a tough statement to tell me.
Yes.
Then they'll know another side of me, but that nobody's going to say that. But what tends to happen is if you're in the middle of a conversation in a corridor with, most likely, you're the only woman.
Yes.
Because we're not that many. Just because we're not that many. But there's also the fact that we're not that many women business owners that really, really operate their business.
That's true.
People assume that, you're just a secretary or somebody hanging out with this guy that is the owner. It's got to be the owner. So they basically direct the conversation and the attention to the person, to the guy, and not you.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very frequent because my partner always try to get engagement in the conversation by telling them that I'm the president or whatever, or that I'm an engineer. And he does that because he's the way he is, he's an includer, right?
Okay.
But not because I need it. But that happens. When I also worked at one of the companies I worked for in Miami, you didn't see a woman more than a project manager. You didn't see any in the leadership. You didn't see a woman. That was it. So that's when I realized that it was time for me to go, because obviously nobody's responsible for your growth but yourself.
Right.
But for the most part, men, when they give themselves the opportunity to engage with you, they are the biggest admirers you can have. It's just that it's the way society is, the way the trend has been. It hasn't been an environment for women, and we just need to catch up, I guess, with time.
Okay.
Eventually.
No, I would agree with that statement that once they have the opportunity to get to know you and your ability, like you said, they become huge admirers of you.
Right.
That makes a lot of sense. You're Hubzone certified?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How has that benefited you?
So far, I don't really have a Hubzone contract. So if I can measure by the contract, I don't have it. I think though that when they see you, that you have several denominations, it's favorable. That this is a perception. Nobody has told me this, but considering the fact that they take, from what I understand, they take from the same dollar, they take credits in as many.
Yes, that's right. I was going to tell you that.
I venture to say that if you have to select between one and the other, and you have three, and the other person has one, and you can do the same thing, I would say that there's a plus there.
One of my other guests said that by accident, one of the contracting officers said that to him, that they chose him because he had multiple certifications and they were able to take credit for the same dollars.
Yeah.
And meet their goals.
Yeah.
It's probably happened to you, but no one told you they did that.
Yeah, but of course it's simple, right? If my job, if I'm being measured by meeting my goals, and you help me get there faster, I mean, it's just simple. Everybody would do it, and you can do the same thing.
Yeah. No. Right. No, simple math. That's, my sister likes that word, simple math. Now, you have offices in Virginia, Washington, Missouri, Miami, and Puerto Rico. What took you to Washington and Missouri?
Well, Missouri was just a JV.
Okay.
And the desire to get work there because of the Hubzone, they didn't meet we partnered with another small business.
Okay.
They didn't meet there were some issues meeting goals there, especially Hubzone.
Okay.
So that's one. The other one is in Washington. My daughter lives in Washington.
Okay.
And she made me open an office there. So there's a lot of work there. We haven't gained the traction that we wanted to get, but that's still in the work.
That's your part of your future plans.
Yeah, I'm still focused. I think it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Puerto Rico, we have work in Puerto Rico. There's a lot of work there. We can add a lot of value, not only to the government, but also the companies there that we're partnering with to help them grow also. Nice. So, yeah, we're in Puerto Rico. We're just starting a new contract there, 2 new contracts in Puerto Rico, and we think we're going to get more.
Okay. Based on what you just said, are you now mentoring small businesses?
Yes. Well, not
officially. Not formally.
But
right.
One of the things that we think we need to do as part of our social mission is to mentor other small businesses.
Excellent.
That want to be mentored, because not everybody wants to be mentored. You know what I mean? Some people say that, but literally what it takes to change, you got to have an attitude of improving and allowing yourself to be guided somehow. But we would like the idea is, and I'll tell you where this comes from, it's pretty strong. We submitted on a proposal, women on set aside, and the proposal was about $8 million, competitive, on a set aside. Okay. And we were actually second bidder. The first bidder was a women owned that did not have a structure. I actually got a phone call from somebody that knows the person well, operating from a truck, partner with a mega billion-dollar company.
Mm.
And I, the number third person, the number third in the proposal, she was upset, was a woman, just more or less like us, a little bit with less revenue, upset that, we're competing with large companies. So the idea is to bring the level up, if we can, do whatever we can to help other businesses that are small, 8As, grow and be sufficient after the 8A program, because better than me that 70% disappear.
Yes.
So that we can compete among us, not having the need to bring a large partner that is really not going to help you grow.
No, they're not going to serve the greater mission.
Yeah, and people tend to receive something and that's it. And I don't think that's the intent.
Okay. Yeah, no, I agree. The billion-dollar company, they're going to just use the next person, and the next person moving forward. Okay. No, and so based on that experience is what made you say, okay, we have to put together a social mission to try and help other companies. How did it end up? Did they keep the contract? Did they forfeit the contract?
Yeah, they said that if you want to protest, but I didn't want to do that. That I didn't want to go through that effort. And I said, whatever. That's not my mission to protest, because, that's not. No. The government has to make the right decision, and then.
Yes. And you're trying to move forward in your own business, right?
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to look back at those experiences. You'll lose twice, right? The time that you've lost a bit, and then the time looking back on that.
We don't have the setup to be engaging in legal battles that we don't have.
Right. No, and I understand that completely. You are a part of many different organizations: Associated Builders, SAMI, National Association of Women-Owned Businesses, U.S. Women's Chamber, WIP. What experiences have you gained by becoming part of these national organizations? And this is a two-part question. Are there any specific instances where maybe they helped you shape your business or the direction of your business in some way?
For me, it's about giving back. It's about becoming available to others to give back. That's one thing where I find that although I might not have the nonprofit that I want to have, eventually I'm still doing something to give back. Because I'm also part of the industry advisory board at FIU, etc. Okay. But every time I go or support any of these institutions, I end up receiving a lot from the people I meet there. It's a gathering for networking, and I cannot tell you enough about networking. Even if you don't get a contract when you go to a networking, you tend to meet people that are amazing. Some of them become really good friends of yours, may not engage into a transactional relationship, right? But their gainings are far beyond. And also through that process, the branding of the company becomes stronger and stronger, and it ends up paying dividends in ways that you might not realize at the beginning, but eventually you see the fruits of all that labor coming up. So they have shaped the business in that regard, because the branding, it's been a forum to meet people that are amazing people. There's a lot of great people that I've met through this process, to encourage other people, to mentor other people, and to receive encouragement also from other people. So I cannot translate that to money, but there's a high value in my life.
A lot of intangible value and a lot of tangible benefits to that. What do you believe is your single greatest attribute that contributes to your success? And we've talked about a lot of things over the last hour.
My attribute.
Yeah, something that you feel.
I feel that people feel that we're trustworthy, that what we say, we mean well. Okay. I think a lot of the opportunities that we've received is because we mean well. we've made mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot through this journey. But the intent of to do well and to say and do what we say we're gonna do, it's been there. And I believe people can see the transparency of the words. Sometimes I think they can see through the soul. So again, that doesn't mean that not made a lot of mistakes.
Right.
I have, and I've learned a lot. But I think that's probably the most, especially in my industry, where there's a lot of everything is about the money, and
Yes.
we forget the fact that we're actually dealing with humans and people, which is actually, in my eyes, more important than the financial transaction that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's it. Because anybody can build, huh?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people out here who can build. They've been building before you were born. They were building before I was born. They were building.
Right. Correct.
Now, are there any books or resources, anything that you've used that's given you more strength or encouragement, things that you've learned from that you would like to share with people out here listening?
Well, I cannot tell you. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for my faith, for my strong relationship with God, the universe. I really believe that it's there. And I also believe that even through the challenges that there have been plenty, where you want to give up and that's it, you don't want to continue. But that commitment to grow spiritually has been key and fundamental for me to be where I am today. In addition to that, focusing on talent, understanding what was done wrong, what mistakes that we have done in the past, and having the desire and the willingness to correct it and advise the right consultants to bring on board to help us do or learn what we don't know, that is not our day-to-day, has been instrumental, especially for us to keep peace.
Explain that.
Explain what part?
To keep peace.
Well, peace this business is unforgiving.
Yes.
Construction is all about a deadline. If it's not at the beginning because you have to submit a price, and if you don't have it on time, you're out of the game. It's because you need to finish on time, and you have liquidated damages if you don't. So everything is a penalty. A really good behavior is really not rewarded. If you don't do it right,
that makes sense. Yes.
So in construction, if you have somebody that is a superintendent, has cancer, that is key to the project, they have cancer and it could be terminal, nobody cares.
Right.
So what am I saying? You can have a lot of issues in a project that can financially impact you as a person, personally, as an owner. And you need to maintain your sanity. At least I do, maintain my sanity. So what when I say my peace, if without the peace, emotional sanity, I can't really do much and inspire the people around me. So I really rely a lot on my spiritual growth for that, a lot. And I try to keep that meditation. So I meditate, I work out.
Okay.
There's certain habits that reading, personal growth, that I try to get better and better every day, so that I can really focus on moving forward the company, right, on the positive end. Yes. And not let the stress of the day-to-day and the stress of the industry take over, right?
No, agreed.
I don't know if that.
That's good. Those are your practices. Those are your habits that you use. Where do you see the company at 5 years from now?
I see us growing. We have invested in the last year a lot of energy, refocusing, replanning, in culture, in development of culture. I'm not sure how familiar if you have been involved in a process like that, but that's a grind. And we've basically establishing culture, hiring to the culture, which we're on the other side already. Processes, procedures, making sure the right person on the right seat. So I see the company growing. probably doubling in size, if not more.
Okay.
So we see us doing work in multiple states, continue to do work in multiple states, and having a strong presence in the federal government still, and locally too.
Okay. Do you are you looking at any type of formal mentor-protege relationships where you would be the mentor and then you'd have a protege?
Yes.
Is that part of your goals moving forward?
Yes. Yeah, we're working on that now, right now as we speak. So we think we're going to have that probably in the next, by the end of the year. We also have, we're also looking into growing and learning from other companies. So I also focus in relationships with large companies. Developing, because there's large companies out there that have similar culture, similar values to what we have, which to me that's key with whether it's small or large. Partnering with somebody that we see eye to eye in the same, in values and principles and mission and vision, so that we can have a dialogue that it's at the same playing field. Same level, right? And so, yeah, we're also possibly partnering with a larger company. So learning from other people and adding value to other people. Sometimes, this topic of diversity and inclusion is an interesting topic to me. And it's a focus not only in my company, but also it's something that we have been approached by larger companies to help them.
Really?
Yeah, because diversity and inclusion is a topic of we're living.
Yes.
But diversity does not mean that you're going to hire a person of color or you're going to hire somebody that is Hispanic. That's not the only thing that means. We could be a minority-owned company, and we could have issues with diversity and inclusion. Yeah. If you are African American, and everyone in your company is the same, looks like you have an issue with diversity and inclusion.
You know who told me that originally? Guaranteed Fence. You know them?
No.
Okay. Well, next time you're looking on the highways, the companies that fix all the fences, they have their trucks are green. They had a problem with that. They said that they were. I don't know if it was the state gave them a difficult time because they said they were Cuban owned and all their employees were Cuban.
Right.
And they had a problem with diversity and culture.
Same thing. And what happens is, look, if everyone in your company is more than 50, for example, you have an issue here. You don't have young people. Young talent. Right. Or if everyone is young and you don't have people of a different age. If everyone is male and you don't have women, what it is that you are preventing yourself from understanding other points of view, from bringing innovation from another side of the world that you might be. What are you missing by not having a company that is diverse and includes all?
That's a very interesting topic. I would have never thought a larger company would have approached you with something like that.
Well, they actually have seen the pain again. We're living in times where that topic is being brought by others, and people. When you see your competition doing something else, you start asking yourself, "What am I doing different?"
Yes.
And so, when in a company everyone is white and you have 5% women, you have an issue. We're not living in an era where everybody is the same anymore.
No, that's true.
So, if you see companies that are making billions of dollars of money, and you see these people at the top, and you look at the demographics of that company, you see that they're bringing talents from somewhere else.
Yes.
Also, so what am I doing differently? So we got to learn from others. We can't be, blind.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. What would you like to tell the small businesses that were where you and I were back in 2007, 2009? What advice would you give to your younger self?
Well, I would say that this program, the ADA program, the small business program that the federal government has, works. It is intended, the way it's designed, to help you grow. If you invest in your companies, it's intended to help you grow by investing in the company, retaining the money in the company, by making you really try on your own to do work, partnering with others, but never selling your certification. I'm sorry, that's the only word I can find.
No, that's great. That's a great word.
Because I know people do it, but it's not legal.
I know people do it. I know what you mean.
And then people do it because they believe in themselves that they cannot do it. And
right.
and my advice is really to tell them that believing in yourself, that you can do it. If I did it, you can do it. Because I'm not even from this country. I don't even speak English well.
I would disagree with that, but I understand your point.
Well, but I'm a woman.
Yes. You have a lot of disadvantages, right?
I don't know white.
Yes.
And my English is good, but I have an accent.
Yes. You have an accent.
Which is okay. But the point is really, if there's a country that allows you to get to wherever you want to get to, whether it's good or bad, is this one. If you were willing to work and pay, work hard, because I think you have to work, and go through the process and be honest to the process, you can get to wherever you want to be. And everyone, including those that don't look like you, will give you a chance if you have that desire. But just believe that you can do it. That's the only job we have. Believe it.
Wow. I think that was great.
How did you enjoy that episode today? The numerous awards and accolades do not speak enough to what it takes to start from nothing and build something incredible. And for this reason, her story touched me emotionally. Wherever you are in your journey, believe in yourself. Drink your own Kool-Aid, because it will take you to unimaginable places. For all the notes from today's episode, links to our guests, and fun facts about the Dominican Republic, visit our website, govcongiants.com/podcast. And I want to leave you with a quote: more smiling, less worrying, more compassion, less judgment, more bless, less stress, more love, less hate. Roy T. Bennett, The Light in the Heart.